All right, so with the remainder of these questions from the or from the practice test rather, these word problems, they are all what we refer to sometimes as advanced distance problems. And for any of you who remember the word problems that we did, and I think it was test number 2, I had a reference sheet that I showed you guys here in the videos that I made, a couple of years ago for my students, and I told you that I printed a whole bunch of them and put them in the Pass Lab if you were on the Gardens campus to stop by and grab one. Otherwise, you can email me for one. But this, the advanced distance problems, this type of problem that we're about to start doing for the rest of this practice test, that reference sheet that I made dealt with how to solve these distance problems. And so we're going to be using this model to solve all of these questions, 36 through 39, I think it is. So you can, of course, certainly still email me if you'd like a copy of that reference sheet. Otherwise, go ahead and try to write this down and commit it to memory, the setup and the order that we're dealing with. And if you can remember this model, then dealing with these more advanced distance problems shouldn't be too much to tackle, because you're literally just taking information directly from the word problem and plugging it into, again, this model. So let's go ahead and take a look, and this will hopefully make a little more sense once we've gone through a couple of them. And so number 36 says here, the speed of a stream is 5 miles per hour. If a boat travels 70 miles downstream in the same time that it takes to travel 35 miles upstream, what is the speed of the boat in still water? All right, well, first things first, let's find out how far we're traveling. And what's important to remember about these distance problems is that you can see these are almost identical, except for the fact that we have a plus sign here, and then we have a minus sign here, right? But other than that, everything is the same. The words are the same. And so what you want to remember is that you're always going to be given two distances, 70 miles and 35 miles in this case. The larger distance, meaning what's larger, 70 miles or 35 miles? Well, obviously 70 miles. The larger distance always goes with the plus, which kind of makes sense, right? And the smaller distance always goes with the minus. So in this case, we're going to say, 70 miles. And then we'll put our division bar equals, and then 35 miles. And put our fraction bar. All right, now let's start filling in the rest. Well, we know this is going to be a plus, and this is going to be a minus, and that just comes directly from our model. And now we want to take a look and see what words are used on either side of this plus and minus. Here we have the words calm and still to the left, and on the right we have wind, current, stream. So these are the key words that we want to look for in this word problem. And so if you go back to the first sentence here, it says the speed of a stream is 5 miles per hour. Well, which side of the plus and minus is the word stream on, the left or the right? Well, it's on the right. And so we're dealing with a stream traveling 5 miles per hour, so that's where we're going to put our 5. And then the very last sentence, which is the question, says, what is the speed of the boat in still water? So that's what they want us to find. And you'll notice that the word still is on the left of our plus and minus. And if that's what they want us to find, that means we don't know what the speed of the boat in still water is. And how do we represent something that we don't know? Well, we represent it with an x, don't we? So there's our x. And now we've filled out our model. We have one fraction equaling another fraction. And so what do? Well, what do these arrows indicate? Now we're going to just cross multiply and solve for x. So we have 70 times the quantity x minus 5 equals 35 times the quantity x plus 5. Let's go ahead and distribute on both sides of our equal sign. So 70 times x, well, that gives us 70x. 70 times negative 5 is negative 350 equals 35 times x, 35x. 35 times 5 is 175. And now we have just a basic linear equation here, so let's go ahead and solve for x. So let's get x on one side, everything else on the other. So we can subtract 35x, subtract 35x, and at the same time, let's go ahead and add 350, add 350, and so let's see what happens. Well, 70x minus 35x, well, that gives us positive 35x. And then our 350's canceled equals the 35's canceled. 175 plus 350 is 525, so equals 525. And lastly here, to solve for x, we'll divide by 35, divide by 35, and so x equals 15. Well, what does that mean? Well, what is the speed of the boat in still water? X is 15, that's what we said we were missing. So the speed of the boat is 15 miles per hour. All right, and so again, if you can commit this model to memory, these problems which on the surface are difficult become much more simplified because again, you're just taking the information directly from the word problem and plugging it into that model. And you want to look for these keywords like stream and current and wind or calm and still. And always remember that the larger distance goes with the plus on the plus side. The smaller distance goes on the minus side, which is what we did down here. And then once you have all the parts filled in, it's just a matter of cross multiplying and just being careful with your signs and making sure to take your time, go step by step, because you just end up with a basic algebraic linear equation here, and you want to just solve for your variable. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more, and I think by the end you'll be comfortable with these. So I'll see you at number 37.